How we doing, ARG fam? Love it. Look, for those that were here last year, you might remember I had the whole audience yelling about Sourcepass's approach to manage IT and cybersecurity services. Anyone remember that? Yeah. Excellent service, strategic guidance delivered with innovation. But I'm not going to make you do that today, okay? I do appreciate some hollers when you hear something you like. And for today, I need you to stick with me for the next 14 minutes, okay? We got a story to tell. First off, I just want to say how grateful I am to be here. The ARG team, the whole ARG community welcoming us. A big round of applause to ARG. I'm also extremely grateful to be here with my business partner, Rolly, who manages and cultivated this relationship. But not do it without Rolly. And our newest team member, Riley, who's going to take us to the next level. But really, I'm grateful just to be here. This past weekend, my wife went out of town she was out of town for the weekend and left me at home with our 4 kids under 9 years old. So after 3 basketball games, 2 birthday parties, and a Super Bowl party, I did not think I'd be standing here today. So give me a round of applause. Look, I was having a funny conversation with my kids on Saturday night. We were getting ready for movie night. We watched Mighty Ducks, by the way, killer movie. You got to watch it again if you haven't seen it recently. And I was given the nostalgic dad talk about Blockbuster and what it was to rent a movie then and how it was an event. And I was going on, and I'm sure all the memories are going through your head of thinking of that. And my kids are just blown away. I mean, they have no idea what the world was like. And so this got me thinking. It got me thinking a lot. And in the year 2000, Netflix was positioned to sell to Blockbuster for $50 million. And Blockbuster declined that offer. Blockbuster thought they made the right move, and they continued to do well. In 2004, Blockbuster had their highest performance year ever. They had 9,000 stores globally. They were doing over $800 million in revenue. Fast forward to, a mere 20 years later, that's shorter tenure than most ARGers, right? A mere 20 years later, Blockbuster has 1 store in Bend, Oregon. Netflix has 325 million subscribers and a company valuation of $352 billion. Think about that. And that's only in 20 years. The fundamental difference was Blockbuster viewed and operated as a retail company, and they stuck to it. Netflix is a technology company that delivers entertainment, right? So think in 2000, just stay in that era for a moment. Think about the things that we were doing and how we were doing that. Everything from calling a taxi to printing out your MapQuest, directions, going to an appointment. If you're cutting edge, you're on a Nokia cell phone. And think about just ordering a pizza for delivery then, right? That's only 20 years ago. The key theme here is that the demand for this did not vanish. And all of those things I mentioned, the demand did not go away. It's convenience won. And convenience was funded by technology investments. Okay. So it's hard to get some hollers on that. Come on. Okay. And it's hard to relate to that when you think about Blockbuster, Netflix, that type of transformation. It's like, how do we relate to that? I mean, those are the gorillas of the world, right? How do we relate to it? So bring it down a level and think through the pandemic. I think it's incredible to reflect back on the companies that had the right infrastructure, planning, preparation, and the agility, staying in this business to consumer space. The agility to move to mobile orders, online orders, curbside pickup, you remember it all. I think Starbucks didn't have mobile orders before the pandemic. 9 out of 10 people use the mobile order for Starbucks now. So it starts to drill into how this can be more relatable to businesses, but I'm going to tell you a personal experience, a very relatable. So I was looking at our credit card statement recently, and I saw a whole bunch of transactions at a farmer's market. So I said to my wife, Eileen, I was like, what's up with this farmer's market? She goes, oh yeah, the farmer's market by the school, the kids' school, they take digital payments now. I'm like, okay, great, here we go. So before, Mr. Farmer, it was no cash, no peaches. Now he has digital payments, and we're buying peaches from the farmer's market all the time. So I bring this all together in the business to consumer space. It's incredible to think about the transformation in 20 years. And really what it comes down to is technology has been able to fuel the business-to-consumer space to create convenience. And the companies that were most successful were focused on the outcome of convenience. They were focused on how people can purchase products and services from them in an easier way. They were all focused on that outcome of convenience. Now, the interesting thing to think about is we are all consumers, right? We're all part of that transformation, but it's not like we went to some seminar and learned how to order a coffee or a pizza on an app. No, it was because we gravitated towards the convenience. And that's a big theme, is it's establishing that transformation focused on the outcomes, and then naturally the consumer, the purchaser, is gravitating towards that outcome. Now, staying on the consumers, we're all consumers of all this, like I mentioned today, but we go into work and we're the business decision makers or the buyers for our companies. We're the same people. Now it's just a different world. Instead of business to consumer, it's business to business. There's a fundamental difference, though, in the business to consumer outcome focused on convenience versus the business to business. Again, business technology has enabled business to consumer to create convenience. Technology is now enabling business to business to create capability. And that's the fundamental difference of how do we transform our companies, how do we think about this next level and how fast technology is moving. It's focused on that outcome of capability. And so capability is a broad word, right? So when you think about how do you assess capability and how do I create more capability for my business, I break it down into a framework I'll call VAS. It's visibility, accuracy, speed, and security. All right, so say it with me now. Visibility, accuracy, speed, security. Visibility, accuracy, speed, security. All right, thanks. So take this framework and now let's apply it to some use cases. So let's say you're a business decision maker and you're purchasing an order from a manufacturing company. Whether you're purchasing, you're with the DoD or you're the ARG marketing team buying these robes for the boxing event. And you've down selected between two different companies. And you ask both the companies, how do I know that you can deliver on what I need? Company one responds with, well, we don't stop until the job is done. Great. All right, feel good about that? Company two responds with, well, Mr. Customer, through our secure client portal, you have visibility throughout your transaction throughout the entire process. Through our digital inventory management system, I can tell you right now that I have the materials for your order. And lastly, through predictive maintenance analytics, I can schedule maintenance around my machinery to minimize any unintended downtime in my production line. What are you going to gravitate towards? You're going to gravitate towards that visibility, access, speed, and security. And so this all comes back into that framework of we need to focus on the outcome of delivering capability for this technology transformation. And if we focus there, then you work your way backwards into how do we get to those outcomes. So this applies to any different vertical. I know it said manufacturing, but think financial services firms, right? You're obviously going to gravitate towards the firm that has the best visibility, accuracy, speed, and security. At Sourcepass, this is what we live and breathe every single day. And so for us as a business, visibility. We have a proprietary platform, Quest, that provides our clients visibility into their entire IT and security environment, which is normally a big concern for someone working with an IT or security provider. In our platform, Quest, you have the same visibility to the ticket data and information and metrics that we're operating off of. We're singing off the same sheet, right? So right away, there's that visibility. Accuracy. We recently implemented an AI ticket routing model that takes the contents of a ticket, it analyzes that, it relabels the ticket, categorizes it, and then spans across our 300+ service members and assigns that ticket to the person with the right bandwidth and the right skill set for the best outcome for that. Now, in doing so, we didn't displace any of our dispatchers, our human dispatchers. We're just enabling them to have more productive and interactive conversations with our clients. And so again, I bring all of this together and walk this back to business to consumer in this huge shift that was all driven by convenience. And now there's this overwhelming feeling of how do we evolve our company's technology to be innovative and to stay with the technology curve. And it comes back down to having a framework, and you need to focus on that outcome of capability. So for us together, how do we do this? The first is there's a hurdle we all have to overcome. So whether you're a business decision maker, whether you're a consultant, you're a provider, you're an operator of a business, there's one line that deflates everyone in this room, and I can promise you that. It's, we need to reduce our IT spend. Give me a round of applause if you heard that before, right? No fun, no fun. It's a matter of changing that mindset. Someone says we need to reduce our IT spend, go back to Blockbuster. I guarantee you they were talking about reducing their IT spend, staying in the model that they were, focused on retail. You have to use technology as enablement. So when someone says that they need to reduce their IT spend, there's usually one of two or a combination of things that are occurring. Number one is they've made poor or uninformed technology decisions that haven't driven the right outcomes. And that usually happens when you're purchasing tools without defined outcomes. Or you're purchasing the shiny object without use cases. Or you're making decisions based on renewals, not renewing based on decisions. The second thing that typically is occurring is that mindset of thinking of IT as cost overhead or a cost burden or maintenance or kind of insurance. It's the nature of the beast. It's the wrong mindset, okay? So that's the first hurdle we have to get over. Now, fortunately, when we look at the ARG Sourcepass partnership, we are better positioned than anyone to be able to do this. Number one, like Mike was covering before, ARG being the best at the business to analyze and assess a client's current situation, what the technology spend is today, how we got to those technology decisions, where that money is going today, what value is or is not being provided of those technology investments. Then as Sourcepass, we're managing the IT and security for our clients, our mutual clients. We provide, having full visibility to the environment, we provide a full technology assessment of the environment that outlines what business continuity and security risks exist. So from the ARG comprehensive view to then Sourcepass's view of the environment, we've got a full assessment and understanding of where we are today. Now you come back to the outcomes. And what we need to drive is the conversation and the right mindset with our clients of what the outcomes or the goals are of the business. Don't worry about technology at the moment. What are the outcomes and the goals of the business? We know our starting point with the full ARG and Sourcepass partnership. Now we can paint the picture of how do we get to those outcomes. So in doing that, we've got to drive the right mindset. And so taking this combined, it's really developing the technology roadmap for our clients. You can't boil the ocean. You can't do it at once. You need to look in the mirror and understand where you are today. You need to understand what your goals are and focus on the capabilities that you're going to create within your business, and then create a very executable roadmap that you can achieve together with your client. So look, I'll end with this. The farmer, Mr. Farmer, he did not go out and implement digital payments because he wanted to be innovative. He wanted to sell more peaches. He's selling a hell of a lot more peaches, I'm telling you that. The next Blockbuster of the world won't be a video store. It'll be a business today that's thinking about IT as a cost overhead or a burden. And it is true. IT used to support businesses. It's a valid mindset to have. But now in today's world, IT shapes businesses. And it's all for us to change that mindset. We've got the best horsepower in this room to be able to do it. Let's go!